This video is going to be a case study breakdown of how we made one of our clients $192,000 in 21 days. So I'm going to break down what we did and what we plan to do to increase that number and basically double the business within the next 3 to 6 months. So the first thing here that you would notice is we did the first campaign together, 12/10. That's the 10th, that's 10th of December. And you can see this is 31st of December. And the cash profit here is about 92. And this is not even revenue. This is profit, by the way. This is $192,000 profit, not revenue. Anyway, so cash profit, that was cash collected profit when we removed the ad spend and everything, was about £92,000. So if you convert that to dollars, that's about 123 or so. And then revenue profit, like revenue that our customers would pay out when all the payment plans come in and stuff, is about £143,000. And that's about $192,000. And this is profit. So this is not revenue. This is not one of those BS campaigns where you only have like a 2 extra hours and you say you make $500,000 in revenue. This is not that. So I'm basically going to break down exactly what we did so that if you have a coaching business yourself, you can learn from this and implement it into your business. So if you're not familiar with me, my name is OP and I run a marketing company where we help coaches, consultants scale their online education business using virtual events. So we've made millions of dollars for our partners and we've helped them sign lots and lots of clients. So you should pay attention to this video because it will genuinely help you and help you grow your coaching business. So when we came on board and we were doing an audit on the client's account, we noticed a few bottlenecks. And when we came on, the first thing we tried to do was to fix the bottlenecks that we observed. So this client already had a decent ROAS. She was already making money with the ads that she was running. So it wasn't a thing of the ads were not working or we had to build everything from scratch or anything like that. We didn't have to do anything too drastic, but we were still able to make this much impact because we just focused on the things that she did not have or the things that were clear bottlenecks. So the first bottleneck that we found was our show up rates pretty much. And so our show up rate was very low. And she had like about a 10%, 15% show up rate just because she didn't have like systems to get people to actually show up. So if you notice, the average show up rate here is about 34%, which is where you want to be honest. Anywhere from 30% plus is very, very good for a webinar funnel like this one. And we just implemented our show up rate best practices and we're able to get that to 34% in 2 weeks pretty much. So you can see the first webinar we did together was 39% show up rate, which is insane, by the way. So some of the things that we did to help her improve our show up rates, right, is first off, she didn't have like a proper pre-webinar email and SMS. So when someone should sign up for your webinar or for your virtual event, you want to send them a lot of emails before the day of the event actually comes. So you want to have a proper confirmation email. You want to have a proper confirmation page, a confirmation page that actually shows them what the email you would send them would look like, and a confirmation page that has a video. So that increases the open rates of the first email, because if you can increase the open rates of that first email, you're more likely to actually get people to show up, because if majority of people open that first email, they'll open the other emails and you're more likely to get them to show up. But if you have a very low show up rate on your first email, then your show up rate is more likely to be down. So you want to make sure people open that first email. And one of the ways to do that is to genuinely have a video and step-by-step instructions on your confirmation page that encourages them to actually show up for the event and check their email for that first confirmation email. So she didn't have any of those systems in place, and we built a pre-webinar email and SMS. So this pre-webinar email and SMS is not just reminders. So you don't want to use just reminders here. You don't want to just say things like, 6 hours to go, 3 hours to go. That's not how you want to do this. You want to genuinely try to still send reminders, but you want to share the story of the founder too as well. You want to get people to engage and ask them to ask you questions on what they want you to cover during the challenge or during the webinar. So you want to do all these things just to build some engagement, build some hype for what is actually coming, for what is coming during the webinar. So you want to use this pre-webinar email and SMS to build genuine hype for these people. The second thing we added was indoctrination emails. So indoctrination emails are basically emails that overcome beliefs and answer likely questions these people will have prior to them showing up for the webinar. So you want to send as many of these indoctrination emails as possible. And again, it's just to build more hype for the webinar. So the way an indoctrination email would typically go would be, you just tell them, probably think this thing is true, well, this is why it is not true, and this is what is actually true. On the webinar, I'll show you how to do XYZ. So you're just educating them about their beliefs and telling them why certain beliefs they have is not true, and telling them you would show them how to do the thing or how to fix the problem on the webinar. A good example might be, most people think they need a lot of startup capital to start their aesthetic practice or to start their business, but that's actually not true. I have XYZ students that have done this with as little startup capital as possible. If you show up to the masterclass, I'm going to show you how you can do the same. That's a classic indoctrination email, and we want to send as many of these as possible. So we wrote some of these for this client. We loaded them up in the automation so that whenever someone should sign up for the webinar, they pretty much get the indoctrination emails. Another thing that we added was RVMs. So RVMs are basically ringless voicemails, and GHL has this feature for RVMs. So I don't know how much they move the needle, but if you want to maximize show up rates, you want to hit them from as many different places as possible. So we added RVMs to as well, where the creator actually records a voice note, and then we put that inside of the automation. And whenever someone should sign up, they receive like a ringless voicemail. They get a voicemail from the founder telling them to, show up for the upcoming masterclass. And this works well to help you improve your show up rates too as well. Another thing that we did was also reminder ads. So this is one that a lot of people don't do, and you're literally leaving a ton of money on the table by not having reminder ads. So again, if you want to genuinely maximize show up rates for an event, for a webinar, you want to hit these people up from as many different touch points as possible. And reminder ads is one way to do that. It's very simple image ads. So everyone who has registered, to encourage them to show up for the event. It's very cheap to run these ads because it's not even a lot of people to start with. You're maybe getting about 500 registrants per week, and then you have like 2 images, and you probably spend about $10 to $15 on these ads. So this is like a life hack. If you have image ads that are going out to people who registered, you would be able to get more people to show up. And one more thing that I didn't add here is setting up some type of automation that automatically adds the event to the calendar. This is some crazy stuff that we do as well with Zapier, and we can basically add the event to the customer's calendar automatically by them just registering for the event. So we do that so as well, and all of these things combined is why we were able to increase the show up rate drastically. So we basically doubled that show up rate in less than 2 weeks. And I remember the clients feeling like the first webinar she did, she had about 230 people actually attend the webinar. She was very shocked by the volume of people that were in the webinar. So that's really good. So the second thing she didn't have is she didn't have any form of one-time offer. She didn't have an OTO. So when someone should opt in, they just basically go to the confirmation page, and that was it. So we love to use OTOs because we want to try as much as possible to reduce the burden of the ad spend on the clients themselves. So if we can have anything that we can do to start making some money before people show up to the webinar, we love to add that to the system. So she didn't have an OTO, and we basically built this OTO for her. So your OTO, how you want to think of your OTO is, you want to think of additional problems people who sign up for your webinar might have. So problems that you can solve before people should come to the webinar. So for example, and they're usually things that help you overcome limiting beliefs so as well. So for example, for these clients, she has a career transition program. So she helps people transition from one career path to another career path pretty much. And we have some products on the OTO where she shows them job boards where they can find roles for this new career path. Do you see what I mean? She has another offer on the OTO where she teaches them how to, she gives them an interview script that they can use in their interviews. So you almost want to give them things that they can't really use them properly unless they are inside of your program, because there's no way you can still use them, but you will get more out of using those things by joining your program, because you don't want to give them like proper elements of your program. You don't want to teach them how to do the thing. Just want to think of the biggest problems they are facing and then try and solve those problems by creating very quick products inside of the OTO. So this helps tremendously. We've made about £5,000+ from those OTO sales within that 21-day period. And that was about like 40% of the ad spend, which I'm not complaining about, because that's just more money for the clients and increases our profits as well, right? So that was really good. I think that was really good. And we just implemented OTOs for the clients. And as soon as someone should purchase, we take them to the OTO page. And then we have an order bump as well, just to maximize the AOV. And then if someone says they're not interested, we have a downsell, just to, again, maximize the AOV. And then they say they are still not interested, we then now just take them to the confirmation page. Plus, those who buy the OTO are more likely to buy the main program, because now they've invested something with you. Those are the ones that are facing the problem the most. They've paid you some money, and it's just about you actually getting them to join your program now. They are much easier to convert when they've already made that first commitment with you. So that's the big thing with OTOs. The second thing is, third thing that we did was, she didn't also have a post webinar sales process. So you've probably heard people say, oh, you're supposed to get, if you have a webinar, for example, and you sell 50 spots during the webinar, you should sell an additional 50 spots post webinar. Just have like 100% of sales coming again post webinar. I haven't quite cracked 100% yet, but we've done 50%, we've done 60, 70%. And that's basically what we did for this client to truly help her increase the conversion rate on these campaigns. So she didn't have a post webinar sales process, pretty much. And we implemented a post webinar sales process by sending emails, SMSs, ringless voicemails to those people who signed up, to get them to join the offer before the deadline comes. So if you are doing your webinar the right way, you're meant to have an exclusive webinar only offer. In this client's case, it's a discount. So she has a discount that expires in 48 hours, for example. So you want to have that ready to go, pretty much, and tell people that that offer is going to expire in 48 hours, and really push that scarcity and urgency in those emails. So that's the best way to actually increase your post-webinar conversion rates, by having a clear thing that if they don't join the program within this time frame, they're going to miss out on XYZ thing, and the replays are also going to go down at the same time. So you basically want to have that, because it just helps you get more cash from what you put in. So post-webinar sales process in this client's case was really, really good. And we added that, and that was able to add an additional, like, let's say we sell about 10 spots on the webinar, we maybe had like 8 more spots on the back end of that. Like if we sell 10 on the webinar, we can add 10, 11 spots sometimes. And that just works really well to help us increase the conversion rate. So the next thing is, she didn't also try to scale the spend, and this is mostly just because of bandwidth. So she didn't just have the bandwidth to properly scale the spend and do other things at the same time when it comes to running the business. So this is going to be very important, especially if you're a coach, you're making about 30 to 50K per month, usually very spread too thin. Hiring just one team member, or like doing one thing, or getting that marketing team in, getting a sales team in, can just literally quadruple your growth in a very short time. And that's basically what happened with these clients. So we were able to come in and scale the spend, because this is our only priority, pretty much. And we can monitor it week to week. We can make changes week to week. We can make tweaks from every now and then to make sure that we are able to help us scale the spend, pretty much. So we came in, and this first webinar was the most sign-up she has ever had before for a webinar, because we just came in, scaled the spend, and we still had a good cost per lead. So we're not too bothered. And we basically had about 18 sales coming from that first webinar we did together. So that was really good. And then she didn't also have second chance campaigns. So second chance campaigns is basically when you give people on your email list another chance to join your core funnel. So that's what a second chance campaign is, pretty much. So say someone signs up to your webinar and they are on your email list now, but they don't show up for the webinar for some reason, and they don't even watch the replay or anything. Second chance campaigns give people another chance to join the webinar. And you will notice some people will join your webinar like 7 times before they finally purchase. It takes some people that long to feel like, okay, you know what, I actually trust this person and I'll go ahead and join their program. It takes them that long sometimes. So you want to always have second chance campaigns, and she didn't have that going. And we basically just started sending like 5 to 6 emails per week to our list, trying to get them to join back to the webinar. So we did a lot more things, but these are the biggest like needle movers that I felt like was responsible for this growth for this client. So a couple of things looking into the future that we are looking to do just so that we can double this and grow this a lot faster and quicker for this client is, first, She has a ton of proof, but there's no like proper system to get interviews, to get more video proof that we can now chop up and run for ads and so on and so forth. So we are basically in the process of building that system right now where she can get some case study interviews, we can chop them up as ads, we can reuse them as Trustpilot reviews and so on and so forth. So we're working on that right now. Second thing is having a long form sales page. So this is not really hard to do because it's just basically taking the webinar content and putting it on a page. And the reason why I want to create this is because if we keep sending only second chance campaigns to the email list is going to get bored of receiving emails about second chance campaigns all the time. They're going to get bored of it. And if they get bored of it, then they'll stop clicking the emails. The click-through rate would go down. And I want some variety in the emails. So we're going to create a long form sales page that will have the program at full price and then basically send emails taking people to that page to try and get them to purchase. Now, the goal for those emails is not to get them to buy anything, right? It's to sell the core offer or the offer at the full price and giving them reasons why they should purchase at the full price. So when they come to another webinar from Second Chance Campaign again, they are able to now join because they feel like they're getting the program for a steal. So I've been selling you on why this thing costs more for the last 2 months. And then you join a webinar and then you see it for less. It feels like it's steal because the price anchoring is now there. So I'm not trying to get sales from this. It's not something that we would do that will bring in sales from the other things that we are doing as well. So we are going to work on this like this month, and then we should launch this month. And then we can start sending some long form sales page campaigns rather to people, rather than just sending only second chance campaigns to people. So this would be a very good price anchor to get people to purchase the program when they see the program for a discount. Then we want to also get a dialer and a setter because we're getting a ton of leads. And if you are calling these people up, messaging them, emailing them, and just really going hard at these leads, we will be able to convert more people from these webinars. So we want to try and get a dialer and a setter as well, just so that we can maximize the leads that we're getting. For example, we've gotten about 3.9K leads in the last like 21 days. During that 21-day period, we got about 3,900 leads during that period. And maybe only about like 1,000 of them came to the webinar. So that's 2,000 people that we are missing out on. So we're going to try and get a dialer and a setter to just call up the leads aggressively to try and get them to convert. And then we plan to do 2 challenges this year. The reason why we want to do 2 challenges this year is just to get that huge cash injection that we can now use to pump and scale ads more aggressively. So by having those 2 challenges, it will be massive challenges. I'll have like 60-day promo cycles. We'll look to make nothing less than 500 grand per challenge. So we'll get that huge cash injection. Everyone is happy. The client makes a ton of money, and then she can now pour even more money into ads, and we can scale more aggressively for the rest of the year. So that's basically the plan that we have for this client. So I hope this was helpful to you. I hope you learned something from this. I hope you picked up a few things you can implement into your business as well. And this applies to all kinds of funnels. It's not just like webinar funnels. So you can apply this to any kind of funnel that you want. If you found this valuable and you would love my team to actually implement something like this for you, there's a link in the description that you can check out if you want, that goes over how we can help you do something like this for your business, where we can help you scale your coaching business to 6 figures a month. And then if you love the video, if you like the video, I think love is a stretch, you can leave a thumbs up and leave a comment if you have any questions, and make sure you subscribe so you don't miss future videos from me. And then that's pretty much it. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.